if the security sector is the one that is controlling power in this country, when it is supposed to be the people who choose their leaders, we have a problem.
Right. What is going to happen is we are going to suggest, after this we're discussing about, there is number one issue on the Zimbabwe problem, what we call the national issue number one, which is our identity. Right. You are talking about elections.
Yeah.
Right. But the question, let me pose a question. Is Zimbabwe a republic? If it is a republic, what kind of a republic is it? But in our view, we see that Zimbabwe is not a republic.
How?
That is where the problem is.
How?
Zimbabwe is a theocracy. Right. A theocracy is a government where that head of government is appointed by God. You understand? A republic is a government of the people, by the people. But in Zimbabwe, there's this conflict. I want you to notice it nicely. Look at what the pastors and the apostles say. Look at what everybody says about when someone gets into office. Just recently, I was reading, or I heard, someone saying Advocate Chamisa was appointed by God. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay? I've also heard some prophets or religious leaders
saying similar sentiments.
Saying President Mnangagwa was anointed by God. You understand? Right. So the question is, as a country, do we really know who appoints the leader of the country? Is it the people or is God? Because at the end of the day, this one will tell you that what God has put in place, no one is going to remove. And this other one is saying what God has put in place, no one is going to remove. And there you are, all of you streaming to the polling station.
No. Let's go back to the question of the security, because I think this is an important question for us as citizens. To say that if the security sector is the one that is controlling power in this country, it means whoever then gets to the number one office must have the support of the security sector.
100%.
And
you are right on point. And this is where the maturity we are talking about comes. This is where understanding practicalities and theories, right? The theory is that you can get there even without the authority of the security clearance. You are just lying to yourself. From independence, the country was brought by the security forces, right? It was never given to a civilian. Since 1980, it was always controlled by the security forces. I'll give you an example. You may think that in 1980 we got independence through the vote. If Smith had won that vote, I can assure you today that the war would have continued. We only went into that vote because we were assured of the numbers. We knew, okay, we've got the majority.
So what you're saying is, as long as we have elections in this country, we are not going to be seeing a leader from the opposition, because it is not about elections. That's what you say.
Right. Let me quantify that. Okay. What I'm saying is, we may have a leader from the opposition, provided the leader of the opposition is responsible enough to understand this reality and to actively seek dialogue and understanding with the people that have got the power. I'll take you back to 2000. General Zinawashe just came up on TV and said, okay, we can see the swelling of this support and the protests. Because remember, as far as ZANU-PF is concerned, what you may see as support for opposition they interpret it as protest. They are not saying it's a genuine vote. You understand? Where we are having those exchange of ideas on a level playing field. They're saying as long as there's interference in the form of these sanctions, the playing field is already not level at that point. Then the opposition starts to see that the playing field is not level during elections. But ZANU-PF has already declared that the playing level is not the playing field is not level. Mm-hmm. So, from both perspectives, these guys, they are saying ZAC and reforms is not level. ZANU-PF has already said we don't even care what's going to happen there because the elections are already on an uneven playing field. Mm-hmm. So, when he said it's a straitjacket, what did he mean? I said, I say to them, they are consistent. How are they consistent? In 2008, we know that the opposition had an upper hand. That was the first election that it was declared as a winner, although then we had a runoff. But at least there was an announcement that Morgan Tsvangirai had beaten President Mugabe, but he didn't get enough votes to go beyond the 50%.
Yeah.
Right. But that admission was historic, that an opposition leader had defeated President Mugabe. Then the runoff came. And what did Mr. Morgan Tsvangirai realize? He didn't participate. He withdrew, actually. He had participated, but then he withdrew in the runoff. And listen to his statement. Mm-hmm. He says, I thought this was an election. But now I have realized that it is a war. That is a pregnant statement. Mm. And that is what Advocate Chamisa should have taken from President Tsvangirai, his president in their party, when he took over. He should have understood that the context here, mm-hmm. we are in a war situation. And that is why he even eventually agreed. But I take my hat off for him because he managed to put the people first. Because he realized the reality on the ground, that no. If I carry on, this play field is not leveled from both sides. Mm. So let me do this for the sake of the people. And he withdrew, and he went into an inclusive government for the sake of the people. The only mistake he did was he remained an opposition leader while in inclusive government. What he should have done, which could have healed everything for us, or maybe could have even ushered him into office in 2013, he should have had a good working relationship with the securocrats and the president, and then they were going to allow him to lead because he had the popularity. Mm-hmm. But then he kept the sanctions on, and he kept on preaching of a new dispensation in the oppositions. So he missed it there, mm-hmm. and he missed a huge opportunity for us as a people. Mm-hmm. And we are saying we cannot miss it again.
Okay, actually, people are also saying that in 2017,
yes,
after the goings on in 2017, mm-hmm. we, as a country, we missed the opportunities. Where, as President Mnangagwa came on, mm-hmm. he should have actually called everyone and say, let's build our country, bring the opposition into government, and we wouldn't be talking about the things that we're talking about.
I agree with you. You know what? It's again, unfortunately, I think it was the death of Mr. Morgan Tsvangirai that deprived us of that. Why do I say that? When we are looking at it from a neutral point of view, I think we saw on television, we were seeing things on television. I think I saw 2 or 3 visits to Morgan Tsvangirai's house by President Mnangagwa and Vice President Chiwenga. Right. And the results of those visits, Morgan Tsvangirai was given his benefits as a prime minister. Mr. Tsvangirai was given the benefit of the state taking over his medical bills. Mr. Tsvangirai was even given a house. That used to be a state house for where he was staying, state paying, and they gave him. That overture to us who are looking without really being attached, we see, we suspect there must have been some discussions going on there. Why? Based on what? Because the reality, from an engineering perspective, the practical reality was that there was no way, after getting into power in November 2017, the Securocrats could relinquish power in July 2018. I mean, that was not...
No, it was not. It's not the question of relinquishing power. It's the